Well, the Premier League match between Manchester United and Liverpool is officially over, and Liverpool, as expected, had a very, very dominant performance. And, well, as things stand, their 4-0 victory over Manchester United means that they are now indeed, at least for one night, top of the Premier League table. And I mean, if you're watching that match as a United fan, I have to, at some level, feel for you just a little bit. You know why? Because, well, honestly, I don't know what exactly was happening in that match. Simply because, yes, the scoreline reads Liverpool 4, United nil, but the simple fact of the matter is that I don't think it was that much of an effort for Liverpool. In all honesty, I think they were cruising around in maybe third, fourth gear for the majority of that match. And that's the worrying side, really, when it comes to. We always talk about United being something of a Jekyll and Hyde side, is that you never really know what side of them you're going to get on any given day. And today, they just looked outdone by a team that was superior in all departments. I mean, when it really came down to it, Liverpool was a far better side defensively. I mean, they didn't get tested much. Allison was probably doing more things away from the goal line than he was at the goal line. But even then, the defense was barely tested. The midfield constantly looked in control. And, well, the forward lines, I mean, what could you say? Mo Salah had, what, two goals and an assist. Sadio Mane, one goal, one assist. And Luis Diaz had one goal and one assist as well. I mean, that's as close to a complete perfect performance from any team that you would be able to get. And you will have to forgive me. Hi, Siddhant. How
Yeah,
are you feeling?
not good at all. Another huge loss. And now I can laugh in disbelief. That's how we have been performing. Like I thought when the first half was going on, I would have to say that I thought they might score 7 or 8 goals against us. That is
Yeah,
how
and they were
good
cruising around. They looked like they were playing in third or
that
fourth gear.
that's how good Liverpool were, and I'm actually surprised that United managed to get away with four. That is how poor we were. That
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
it's rather unfortunate for a United fan like me, and many of you might be feeling the same. But horrendous performance again, horrendous. Like irrespective of what we saw at the start of the second half, we thought United have some sort of sense of where they are, what they need to do to keep Liverpool away from their goal. But you look at Liverpool's finishing intent, you look at their passes, you look at the quality, and you realize that United, as somebody in commentary, I'm not sure who said that, said we are a galaxy behind Liverpool right now.
No,
That is how that is how good Liverpool have been, and we deserve to lose. I thought we probably would have lost by an even bigger margin. We got lucky that we lost only by four, and that says something about the quality United are producing right now.
absolutely. I mean, Liverpool, as I said, they looked like they were cruising. Effortless football. Even that second goal, I mean, there was pass, 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 move, shoot, goal. That's it. And I'm like, okay, what exactly were they playing with? Training cones. I think it was Gary Neville who was on commentary for Sky, and he called this United team a waste of space, which I think kind of sums it up in many ways. I mean, it's harsh, but sure. I mean, could you disagree with him?
I don't disagree with Gary Neville or anybody who's calling United anything that's related to waste. That's how poor we have been. You see the defense. You see what our club captain Harry Maguire
Hmm.
keeps on playing week in and week out with performances like that. That first goal was mostly his fault. He was completely out of position. He was neither trying to attack the pass. He was neither trying to be with the guys who were running behind him. Completely
Yeah.
misjudged it, and that's not the first time he has made a mistake this season. Horrible to watch. And Man United is such a big mess, man. Like I don't even
As
know.
Praveen Akruti
Uh,
says very succulently in our comments, Manu, what a mess. Eesh. I have to agree with him.
oh, yeah, it's terrible. And as a United fan, as somebody who's been seeing them, do really well over the years, as a huge United supporter because of how they were a winning machine once upon a time. 99, when I started watching them as a 7-year-old, they were winning so much. They were always there, okay, in the
Yeah.
top two. In Even if they were not winning the title, they were doing well in the Champions League. They were either number two or number three. They were always sort of at least playing attractive football, right? The problem
Yeah.
with the current United side is even before the game started, it felt like they thought they had given up. They thought that,
Mm.
boss, we are anyway going to lose this game, so let's try and concede as less as possible. And then that first goal in the fifth minute probably was, I don't know, it did not even wake them up, honestly.
Mm.
After that
It
first goal,
didn't
they probably
actually.
should. They were still horrible. It was. I want to hit somebody. I've got this stick in my hand. It's
Uh,
just annoying as a United fan. I don't know what to say about this side. It's just it feels so bad to watch this United team play. They are really, really horrible.
I mean, even if you look at the way the match was, it actually panned out the way exactly how we thought it would. For one, Liverpool look exactly like what they are. They're a ruthless winning machine. Whereas this United team looks like they are, I don't know, in a holding pattern, which in many ways they are. They have an interim manager. There's no we don't know who the next manager will be. Speculation says it'll be Eric Ten Hag, but that's not official. The team just look like they're in a holding pattern. They're waiting for this particular season to finish, and it was very evident out there on the pitch. They just were not playing for the manager, for themselves. It just was very bad to watch. I was almost sad after a point. I'm like, I can't believe this is the same United side who would make
I
you know
agree.
teams envious or even scared. This team, no one really fears facing, and that's a shame.
Forget Liverpool. Last week, Norwich did not even think, did not even look like were worried about playing a United side. Earlier
Yeah.
teams would, they would shiver at the thought of United attackers coming at them. They would think about, oh, how many goals. Like the same game that United were playing against Liverpool, and the way
Hmm.
Liverpool were dominating, United were like that once upon a time. And I can't
True.
believe it feels like it was only a decade back, but now it feels like I don't know. It's just that past Lawrence we keep talking about. The United team currently is absolute shite, to say the least.
My God, yeah, they were really horrible to watch. And at this, we were talking like earlier today when we were doing our preview live of sorts. We said that this would be some chance if United could somehow pull an upset. You're blowing apart the race for top four. As things stand, well, Liverpool are top of the table, even if at least for a day. But 2 point lead, and suddenly, as some of our commenters are pointing out, Shivam Malik saying that Liverpool winning quadruple. Well, I mean, we were thinking that it's not really possible, but it does at the very least look this close to being on right now. I mean, who
Well,
put it past?
got to say, Liverpool winning the quadruple will be insane. And right now,
Mm,
they are on course to do it. The way they have been playing, see, already League Cup final, they won FA Cup final. They're going to play Chelsea, who, by the way, are not any pushovers for that matter. Liverpool will find it hard to get past them, as they saw in the League Cup
in
final,
the
where they had to
correct.
win on penalties, and that was when Kepa Arrizabalaga missed his penalty. But Liverpool, for the kind of football they have been playing, so attractive, man. It's like everything is clicking for them. Guys who have come to the side in the January transfer window, boss, they are playing as if they've been playing with this club for a good 4 5 years.
Exactly.
Everything is clicking. Everybody knows where to be. You see, Luis Diaz knew exactly where to pass that ball, and to be that first goal that he scored, he knew where
Yeah.
exactly to be when Salah got him. Okay, pinpoint accuracy with passes, like the way he got found Sadio Mane with that
Mm.
third goal. You would have to say it was ridiculous. Like in terms of he exactly knew where Mane was. Mane had just decided to take a step back behind the two defenders, and boss,
It was the
it was
same when even Mane picked out Salah for the second goal. I mean, they're pinging passes around like nothing, and that one killer ball, and he knew exactly where Salah would be.
and
So,
you
consider.
that that is true, man. I think for a team that's been gelling so well, you saw Jota coming in and immediately clicking for them. Luis Diaz has come in, immediately clicking for them, and
Yeah.
players like Thiago, who did not have a great time when they first started off with Liverpool. Look at them right now. He was dictating play like anything, and United had no answer for Thiago.
He was
And
pinging
United,
around no one's business, honestly.
it's just Liverpool are, as the commentator said, a galaxy ahead of United right now.
Yeah.
United's so poor, man. It was just so bad to watch, and it's like they were not even trying. My problem is that we talked about like during the IPL game also we were talking about intent tonight. Uh, you have to say United hardly showed any intent here also. They like that first 20 minutes in that second half, you sort of a semblance of hope where oh maybe they have decided to sort of not just sit back and let Liverpool dictate. Maybe they want to play the game. But
Hmm.
after that, again, those 20 minutes gone, and then Liverpool again all over United all over the place, and United भाई साहब as I would say in Hindi भाई साहब लगी पड़ी है
That's the thing, and that's what I keep saying. Is that I was watching this Liverpool side; they were playing so effortlessly. It didn't look like they were actually putting, any major effort into this match. They were just going about with their. It looked like a training match at times. The way they were just passing the ball around, fun. The way Thiago is trying the most outrageous passes you've ever seen, and almost pulling them off. So I
almost
mean,
pulling them off. But you have to say United were playing like that. They are in a training ground and they don't have to do much.
they were
That's
playing
how.
like
That's
training. In all fairness,
yeah. They were horrible, man. United imagine few years back you would think Liverpool would score 9 goals against us over the 2 matches in the Premier League, and
not
United
chance.
not scoring a single goal against them. That is how
Correct.
poor we have been this season. And you might fault Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that he did not do anything and all. What has Rangnick done? He has
Hmm.
come to United. He, of course, will not be taking over clearly. If he takes over, I think that there are going to be riots at Old Trafford.
Not
So we know he's not going to be taking over. Ten Hag will be there. Also, another big miss, and I think so. Shivam Malik is also pointing out, even though he's laughing after that, that do you guys think Man United missing Mason Greenwood? I don't know what has happened to Rashford also for that matter. Rashford during his earlier days for United would score goals, and the way he would score goals, he would attack and he would show intent. Right now he looks lost. And I don't know
yeah.
whether that's just this entire club right now, every player involved, whether it's the manager's doing, whether he's not getting enough confidence, whether he has lost confidence himself. I don't know what's wrong, but you look at Rashford and you look at United and it feels like synonymous. You realize
I
कि
mean,
they are
if I
they are both at like Rashford for what he has done for the poor kids in the country in England. That's great, everything. But you have to perform on the field, right? That hasn't
mm,
happened ever since he's cheered for whatever he did, and rightly so. He backed a great cause. Everything is right. But when your football is not doing the talking, people are going to ask questions about everything else you do. And right now, even though he has thankfully stayed away from the limelight, hasn't done anything foolish like Mason Greenwood has. No,
yeah,
actually, to call it foolish is also an understatement. What Mason
true.
Greenwood has done is like it's
But it's
horrible
still,
again. But but
position.
they are clearly missing a player like him with his football. And even though Elanga is there, even though you see players like Sancho coming up, the unfortunate thing is nobody's clicking. Like you see these games where Ronaldo bails you out every now and then. But
Hmm.
what else? What else? Fernandez lost his cool towards the end. That kick at Trent Alexander-Arnold was unnecessary to say the
So
least.
bad.
And
It
you
was so.
you realize after that game where United is right now. Like
Hmm.
they have completely lost it in their head also. And the fact that you are losing 4-0 to your arch rivals tells a sad, sad tale about United right now.
So, you're talking about the Rashford problem, and I have to agree, he's 100% lost his form, doesn't look very good. But it's also a simple problem that's come down to, I don't know, I don't know whether it's United's problems when it comes to recruitment, but they had signed Jadon Sancho to be a right winger. And now, if you look at him, he's mostly playing and doing his best work on the left, which means that you've signed another player for the left when you already had Rashford, who did very well from the left, and your major problem areas, which is right wing, centre back, and
And and
midfield.
not and not to forget, we had a problem similarly with Anthony Marshall who wanted to play on the left. You remember
Uh,
that? Marshall
yes.
was also on the left, Rashford on the left.
Now you have Sancho
No,
also.
no. At one point, he wanted to play Cavani also on the left. I
Correct.
I just don't understand what kind of football United are trying to play. I don't understand what's the ideology behind making so many changes. Maybe Sancho was doing so well at Dortmund because he was playing on the right wing. Certain times it's important to back your players also. With
Mhm.
Sancho is one game they play him, one game they drop him on the bench. And by the way, he was one of the better players this season when United hit some sort of form under Rangnick also.
True.
But it's just, man, I feel I fall short of words in describing this United performance, and I think one word to sum it up is pathetic. It's
Yeah.
simply pathetic. And as United fan, as a fan who's been supporting the club for 23 years now, and I keep pointing it out because everybody is like, "Sir, why do you still support United? They are playing horrible football over the past 5, 6 years." I support them because I was growing up and watching United play sensational football, them
True.
snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. I never watched that Champions League final live, but I remember what happened when you score goals in injury time, of what it feels like. United used to do that every time, like under Sir Alex. That used to be a thing that would happen every few games at least. Like you knew that United were never out of it when they were playing. Now you look at them in the first half. That 5 minutes told you that they're out of it. They are nowhere going to be able to compete with the level Liverpool were playing at.
True. And I think if there was a defining image of the match, it was when you saw Sir Alex Ferguson sitting in the stands looking helpless. And then at the same time, they showed Kenny Dalglish sitting in the stands and he was having a laugh. I mean,
That is
how?
true. That
That was,
reminds me. That reminds me. I'll show you this. Can you see Sir Alex?
yes, that lovely picture of Sir Alex. Yes.
That is the last trophy he won, by the way.
The Premier League, yeah, 2012-13.
Yeah, yeah, and that's about it. After that, you know, the way United have been playing.
Yeah. No, it's not been easy times for United, and the sad part is that they've kind of shot themselves in the foot many, many times. I don't know. Personally, I think that they need a bit of a culture reset as well as a new manager, and the new manager will obviously come in this summer. Culture reset, it's a whole different matter because we know that Ed Woodward will be leaving, but the man who will be coming in his place is someone who he's pretty much handpicked. Will Richie Arnold be that man who says, yeah, you know what, I don't want to really focus on the football side of things. We have a director of football in Darren Fletcher, and we have a full setup there. Do we want to start actually letting them focus more on the football side of things? Because I think that's what United severely lack. If you look at, say, Liverpool and City, they have very, very good people doing the executive jobs as well. It's not just down to a manager. I think those days of, a manager like Wenger or even Fergie, of being those forces of nature are pretty much gone. I think nowadays the clubs that exist well are clubs that have a structure in place which allows the manager to do what they do best, which is manage the team and coach the team. Do you think, and honestly, I think right now I'm still, jury's still out because I know for a fact that Ten Hag is a very good manager, but will he be able to succeed with this slot? I don't think anyone could succeed with this slot, truth be told.
So I have a lot of friends who are also Manchester United fans, and we have got a group. So when that
Mm,
first goal went in, somebody messaged, "Oh, another 5-0 coming for sure." Okay, and that has to do with the quality the players are also producing.
mm,
See, the manager is not the only one at fault. Clearly, the players are also at fault because day in and day out, you can't be this crap. Okay, my entire point is, I think that the mindset also needs to change because half of them feel like they're given up. When they
mm,
start the game like the way they are, you know that you're always going to be on the back foot. Our defense is in shambles. Our midfield is non-existent. Our attackers hardly get to even take shots at goal. Like
mm,
that is the kind of United like has become. See, commercially you might be successful, but the kind of success commercially came to you after you dominated the Premier League, after you became a dominant force in Europe, and world over you became a renowned club simply because of the kind of performances you pulled off, right?
yeah.
What's happening right now? If that's the way United are gonna play for the next 10 seasons, do you think they'll still be so successful commercially?
No.
Not all, right. So irrespective of whatever they do, if they don't find a way to sort of redefine their football, sort of, I don't know, like I don't even have words to explain what I want from this team because the way you are performing right now, beat the players, beat the manager, nothing is clicking for you. And to go on and say the Glazers are the owners who only care about their debt and how they can reduce their personal debt because that's what they did once they bought United, and that's why
True.
the fans don't support them at all. And the
Mm,
Glazers may have tried Ed Woodward. Woodward may have given a certain budget. You might have bought certain big players in the summer this season, but nothing has worked for you. So what's your
yeah.
plan B? And right now, even if you get a new manager, the point is that talk about the top down, from the top till the level that United players are. Everybody has to, sort of contribute to something that this club does, right? Which is not happening. Be it the director of, I don't know. I've heard a lot of things about Sir Alex also interfering in affairs, and that's probably not working well for United. Apparently, that has also been the case, and nobody can, sort of stamp on it whether it's the truth or not. But if that's the case, it should be done. Sir Alex is done. There's
Yeah.
no point now thinking about what he did for United back in 2012, 13, and the years before that, and giving him the option to dictate how United go now. If that's the case, you ask him, sir, thank you so much. Now it's time for you to take that honorary position, and that's about it. That's it.
Yeah.
My entire point is whoever is talks about football, it's a club that talks about their revenue, how they are number one or number two in terms of the money they got from jersey sales, from rights distribution, and all that. Forget about that. First, focus on your football, which has
Yeah.
not been the case for the past few years, and that's been the real problem for United again. And let's
Yeah.
see. I really hope something different happens now.
Yeah, I mean, because
By the
you're
way,
right.
let's take a few questions after your thoughts, because I know that for a guy who understands football, and you are one of those who will explain this better, what United need to do to become a more successful club, not just commercially, but in terms of football also.
Yes, I think one of the major problems, aside from the fact that there's been no identity, has been a horrible transfer strategy. Now, people always point out, and you also pointed out that without Ronaldo, you would not be winning certain games. But also, one of the major problems with having a Ronaldo there is that you're playing a style of football to accommodate him, and that isn't
Yes.
cohesive. It's building the team around Ronaldo. That's a problem which Real, to an extent, they didn't really struggle with it because they won a lot of trophies. But Juventus struggled with it to a degree. We're seeing United struggle with it now, and that's the thing. Is someone like Eric Ten Hag is the kind of manager who will ask for a lot of buy-in from all the players to be doing the hard yards. Is Ronaldo going to be doing that? No. Is he still going to be at the club then? Because he did sign what, a 2-year deal? Correct me if I'm wrong.
2 year
So
deal.
yeah, so I mean, I don't understand. The thing was, I feel like one of the only reasons United actually went in and signed him was because he was being linked with
Yeah.
the move to City, and they were like, okay,
City. Correct. I think they signed him because they realized if he goes to City as a
hmm,
United legend, a guy who won so many Premier League crowns, won the Champions League with United, suddenly he goes to City and they'll be having their own jersey sales of Ronaldo and all that. And you know that Ronaldo, no
hmm,
matter what, is the biggest figure in world football. Wherever
hmm,
he goes, the talk will be about him. And
correct,
United, I'm sure, irrespective of what they are doing this season, must have had seen a boost in sales in terms of jerseys and everything because Ronaldo was there. That's
yeah,
and it was like a dream come true, right? The homecoming of 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 your own, like the homecoming of one of the greatest players you ever had, and it was like a fairy tale, right? That's what it was for
yeah,
everybody's. Uh, like for us also as a United fan, we thought, wow, this is unbelievable, Ronaldo coming back and all. Yeah, it did not work out as much as we would have liked. And
true,
right now, I think, irrespective of whether Ronaldo stays or not, whoever is the next manager, and I hope it's Eric Ten Hag at least for now. I'm not sure whether United, like, like we know that 99% is Eric Ten Hag, but with United, you can never know for sure. Uh,
yeah.
it's not just our transfers with the players that we botch up. Sometimes the managers also we get are also second rate. When I talk about some managers like Louis Van Gaal, who came to United on the back of his success with the Dutch team, I thought it was a useless appointment for that matter.
I'll give you
And
another, which was Jose Mourinho, who by the time his spell
yeah,
at Chelsea was done, was pretty much a finished manager at the top level. Yet he came in, was backed so heavily, and well, you see what
see the
happens.
problem. I'll tell you the problem with United was he wanted to be the chosen one after Sir Alex, if you
Hmm.
remember that time.
Yes,
But that
yes.
never happened. Sir
Yeah,
Alex wanted David Moyes to take over, and that also did not work. United finished seventh that season, and it's just horrible, man. Like I keep talking about United. Since 2013, I've just not seen. Last season, we thought when we finished second, right? We thought maybe this season we could be going for a title. Maybe this season we'll be competing with the likes of Liverpool, with the likes of City,
Hmm.
and Yeah, did not happen, and
Uh,
did not happen.
3 years, even if you get the right manager, because City and United are not City and sorry Liverpool are another level right now. So
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing now is an redacted city is agreeing with what I'm saying that give Ten Hag a long rope, even if
hmm,
he is not de even if he's not that decent early on. I think
no guarantee he will be. Initial will always be a problem, especially if you're trying to
see,
do like overall.
no, we have seen with Klopp. I
Hmm,
think when Klopp first started off, people talked about how another manager who will be sacked by Liverpool, not gonna be successful. Lot of
yeah.
talk. Look at where he is right now. The kind of football City is playing. If United can play that level of football even 5 years later, I would love to have Ten Hag do that. And
I'll
I'm just
literally
keeping my fingers crossed.
we take Midhan Sharma's comment because he says Van de Beek sold, Martial sold, Cavani injured. Still, Man U didn't purchase any player in the winter transfer market. Horrible. Okay, let me correct two things there. Van de Beek and Martial have not been sold; they're out on loan. And boy,
Loans.
Van de Beek would really be hoping that Ten Hag does turn up, considering how well he played under him at Ajax. But Martial sold, and even if he's loaned, it doesn't really matter. Because I don't think his career at United is pretty much done. But agree that they should have signed a couple of players. The rationale from the United side was that we don't want to be signing any players that the next manager may want. But in that case, you still could look at a loan deal or something like that because the squad does look
The
threat present.
no, the problem with United is there are so many of them who are on such high wages and they hardly get game time.
Hmm.
They need to
Right.
definitely offload quite a few players and then get new players in according to what the new manager wants. The problem is right now under Ragnick also nothing. Everybody talks about this gegenpress and whatnot. That that's gonna change and revolutionize the way United were playing earlier. And once Ragnick comes in, oh this will happen, that will happen. What has happened? United have become, if not better, I think they've become worse
So let me
under
explain
Ragnick.
the rationale behind that and play devil's advocate. The thing with Ragnick is in every club that he's actually managed, he's had a full say in how everything runs, and he's been a full-time manager. If you're bringing in someone who's a firefighting manager, then you should bring in someone who knows how to play for the short term. Just as an example, I would say someone like a Sam Allardyce. Now, I'm not saying United should appoint Sam Allardyce, but
Sam
you get the
Allardyce would not never have been appointed, you know. He is one
course.
of those who's signed on to fight the relegation battle.
Right.
If
But my point,
United would have signed Sam Allardyce, it would have been a scandal in the first place.
no, my
What?
point.
How can
Okay,
that happen?
I'll give you a better example then. Two times when Chelsea went the interim manager route, you had someone named Gus Hiddink come in. Now,
Gus
Hiddink was
Hiddink
not
came,
good
yes.
at revolutionary football, but he knew how to stabilize the side and get the results. That is what United needed. Rangnick, obviously, first off, let me also put it this way: it's not like he's some managerial genius in the sense of. I think he's more in the mold of someone like a Bielsa, someone who didn't win a lot but who's very influential. So I don't understand the philosophy of bringing in someone whose entire philosophy is long term to firefight. You needed someone to get through to the end of the season, and the only reason Ragnick was appointed was because he was a direct contact of Richie Arnold. That's it. That's literally the only reason he was appointed. And you're talking about players on heavy wages. So Jesse Lingard wanted to leave on loan, and he will be leaving at the end of the season once his contract
Free.
expires. Yeah, on a
Free.
free. Him, Pogba, well, even Cavani for that matter. So Lingard wanted to go to Newcastle on loan. Rangnick gave him his blessing. And then the club pulled the plug on the deal at the last minute saying we might need him for squad depth purposes. Dysfunction all round.
I'm dysfunction. I'm waiting for the blame game to start. I'm sure there is going to be some interview where the player will point fingers at the manager. Manager might do the same to the player, and then the top management also that Woodward isn't supporting me or whatever. I'm sure
Hmm.
the blame game will be there. See, the problem with United is when the football is not doing, when you're not playing proper football, you can keep pointing fingers at whatever you want. But till the
Yeah.
time you sort out your football, I think these issues will keep cropping up, be it players who have not left on time and now they'll be going out on free transfers because you did not, you at least could have sold them for certain amounts, right? And unfortunately, you did not. And it's just how United are. Like they are struggling to
When
forget
Lingard went
squad
out,
depth. kind of quality Liverpool can bring on from bench and the kind of quality United can is like this wide. You can't even see my hands. That is how
Hmm.
wide the difference is.
So, we were talking about Lingard. Lingard is another thing I'd like pointing out is that in the end of in last season, in fact, he had gone to West Ham on loan, did very, very well, and West Ham were keen to sign him permanently.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. I know, I know.
United triggered a 1 year contract extension, asked for an unreasonable fee, then told Lingard he will play. He'll play games. Like what Solskjaer and the club told him is that he's part of the club's plans. And then he ended up being benched for most of the time anyway. So again, Rajni Shah says don't trust players and managers from Mickey Mouse leagues such as Bundesliga. Look at Sancho, Rangnick, etc. Hello, where did Jurgen Klopp come from? The Bundesliga. Where
Bundesliga.
did Tuchel come from? The Bundesliga. Where does
Where
Kai
was
Havertz?
Kevin De Bruyne? Kevin De
Exactly.
Bruyne, where was he playing?
Exactly.
Bundesliga.
I don't understand. Like, there's this very common misconception that is there out, which is called the Bundesliga tax. I have to clear that out. For one, I get that the Bundesliga probably levels wise is not exactly the same as the Premier League, but they do produce players of high technical quality. And we're talking, look at Sancho. I mean, Sancho's been one of United's better players this year. Yeah, he struggled initially because, of course, he would. But I think now that he's up to speed, he's done really well. Like, as well as would be expected from him at this point.
No, I think not as well as it would have been expected, but considering how everybody else is playing, yeah, he's
Yes.
been one of the better players, I would have to say. And that just sums up how United have been playing overall. It's just horrendous football. And yeah, Ritvika is saying that Heung-min Son came from the Bundesliga, which is so
Exactly. He
true,
was
man.
such a good-
Bundesliga
yeah.
has given actually such great players, and they have enhanced the quality of football in the Premier League. So can't
Actually, it's just,
can't
yeah,
fault
that
the Bundesliga
Bundesliga
for
was
that.
top, not for past 3 years. I mean, okay, Kai Havertz was signed by Chelsea in the past 3 years, in the past 2 years, in fact. He's turned out to win the club two trophies. So, again, I disagree with that statement entirely. But fair
But
enough.
Ritika is also saying that Sancho's been a flop. Come on.
No, he's not going to. No, 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 no. I
No,
disagree with
but
that.
he's not been. No, but I have to say he's not been a success either. It's just that United are playing such horrendous football, and the
Yeah.
kind like even today when he came on in the second half, United looked better from that left flank.
Mhm.
Right, you saw him make runs, and that's the difference I'm talking about with Sancho being a better player than what the others were doing. Because before that, it was non-existent. There was no threat at all, at all. And when
True.
Sancho came on, at least even though he did not make any good of the chances he got, or even made a great pass or whatever. Was trying that Modric pass, if you remember,
I don't the
uh,
same.
did
Yeah.
did not
Alisson
work at all.
just Yeah, but see, another thing which I have to point out is that we were talking about Sancho, and one of the reasons he did so well at Dortmund is he joined them at a relatively young age. He had plenty of exposure to their style of football, and then afterwards was also playing that style of football, which he's very comfortable with. Simply put, they had a system. United don't have a system. So someone who's been used to playing system football all their life and suddenly is being thrust into a role where he's being told, okay, go on and get out there, he's not going to be able to function. Nowadays,
No,
players
but
are.
no, but got to say that Sancho's form in the Bundesliga had also taken a dip, like before he came to United. The kind of goals he was scoring, the kind of impact he was having, you see that with the price tag he got eventually. At one point, Dortmund was asking double the price what we eventually paid for
That was
as
he didn't
United.
have a contract. So obviously,
Yeah.
then they were in the case of selling him for whatever they can get.
So United got a bargain, and everybody praised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that time. Oh, he's pulled off a good bargain, whatnot. And then United are playing like this. Beautiful to
Oh my,
watch for oppositions.
oh my goodness. I'm going to have to actually look this up because I can't, like, I'll need to verify this a bit. Maybe just give me a second. Let me get this. But apparently, what Mo Salah has said after the game was that United make our life easier. He's actually gone out and said that. My
Uh,
goodness.
that could be possible because we do make their lives easier. You know it. When
Yeah.
you saw United today, I think so. Liverpool thought, oh, 3 points in the bag easily, and that
Yeah.
start they got, they probably could have scored even more goals in those first 45. I thought United were lucky to get away with just 2 goals in that first half. Yeah, the
Hmm.
way Liverpool were playing, the way they sort of constructed that second goal was phenomenal. And the kind of quality, man, passes one after the other, the kind of attacking intent with you see how many Liverpool guys are attacking once they've got the ball in their possession.
Yeah,
It's just unbelievable football in comparison to how poorly United play when they have the ball in possession.
yeah.
It's well,
It's
I have to say,
everything.
say as a United fan, I can go rant all night long, all day tomorrow also. But that would like you know make my heart ache even more because it really is a terrible time as a United fan. I every time, every live we do, the moment United topic comes up, I'm just like, again,
Oh,
what can I say? Oh God,
yeah,
horrible man. It's pretty poor. Anyway, lots of comments by the way.
yeah,
Simon Abraham says good player and coach are good anywhere, irrespective to the league. Yeah, that is true, but at times some coaches take some time to build an identity. You saw
mm.
that with Klopp, as I was giving his example. You saw that
Same
with
with
Sir Alex also. No, for Sir Alex, when he first started off, by the way, was, if I'm not wrong, 3 games. If you would have lost any of those 3 games towards the end of the 93-94, some one of those seasons, he would have been kicked out because he
yeah,
hadn't won anything, and they thought that he's also going to be another useless manager. But
mm,
United still persisted with him, and see what he brought United. So certain times you have to let the coaches do their thing, the managers do their thing, but at least there's some sort of effort you see from players, right? Right
yeah,
now, what it looks like is that the players do not even want to play for Rangnick, and when that's happening, that's a huge, huge problem.
it is. So
Yeah,
Ritvika,
Shane, come on, give me the comments.
yeah, so Ritvika is asking, or Ritvika, I'll take two comments. Kulusevski was signed in January and he's done better than Sancho. Oof. I mean, Kulusevski has been an impact player for Spurs, can't deny that. And Ritvika also says, can you talk about the top four race? Now, that's an interesting one. Sid and I did speak about it previously, but obviously that situation is constantly changing. So as of now, I think, the top four race is exactly that, because I think Chelsea are very comfortable. They're 5 points
Chelsea
ahead
are
of.
definitely going.
Yeah, they're 5 points ahead of Tottenham, and also they played two less games, so I think they are fine. But as of now, like, see, we thought United might have an outside chance, and I don't see that being the case now. I think it's going to be between the two uh, North London clubs. It's going to be between Tottenham and Arsenal. So, redacted
No, I
Shetty.
think so. No, I think so. The thing with United is they're gonna play much better football against Arsenal. You'll see. They'll
But
suddenly look like a much improved side. I'm telling you,
the
that's how
the
United
problem,
are.
the problem is also that Arsenal have two games in hand to United. So even if United get a good result, two games in hand, ooh,
But
it's just tough.
by the way, United's next 2 games are against. One of them is against Chelsea. Also, one of them is against Arsenal.
Yeah, one of them is against Chelsea. I think that one hasn't actually been scheduled.
No,
So,
no. I think it's scheduled to happen after the game against Arsenal. Now because
I had no idea. I'll need to check that actually.
But tomorrow, I guess it's another big game from Arsenal's point of view as well because they
Because they'll
take on Chelsea.
at Stamford Bridge, yes.
So I think if Chelsea wins that United Arsenal game is gonna be very key to what happens. But forget that. I think for that Tottenham also now needs to lose 2 games, and one game I expect them to lose. That's against Liverpool. That they are definitely gonna be playing because
Yeah.
Liverpool can't afford to lose, and maybe Tottenham spoils their party. But the way Liverpool are playing, yeah, I think the chances of it happening the other way are more.
Managed to go to the fixtures, and United's next matches are against Arsenal and Chelsea.
Chelsea, I
So,
told you.
you, oh,
It,
the next
we'll
three.
get to know. We'll get to know in the next 3 games that whether United have a chance at all or not.
Yeah, that I agree with. We'll get to know only then. But as of now, it's just, I don't know. I find it very shaky because they had to win this game, maybe set the cat among the pigeons. Right now, it still looks like very much a
Who?
battle in the top two
Who?
London.
You are saying United had to win against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Even in the preview, I told you that's not going to happen.
And you're a United fan, so it says a
I'm a
lot.
United fan, but it
Yeah.
tells you about the difference between the kind of football both clubs have been playing now for the past few years, and it's the quality that United show us day in and day out that makes me believe that against a team like Liverpool, we're gonna lose. And that's
Yeah.
coming from a United fan. That is how poor we have been this entire season. And that's how poor we'll be if we keep playing football like this. If we keep making the same mistakes. If we keep playing players like Harry Maguire. I really think Harry Maguire needs to be benched and at least take the captain's armband off his arm. Yeah, I really can't understand how can you have somebody captaining you when every second game he's the reason why we concede one goal. It's not the
Yeah.
first time he was the reason why we conceded that first goal. It has
True.
happened in the past. It has happened, and it will happen again. The way United set up, he was so confused between whether to attack the ball or whether to stay back and stop those runs behind him, and he could do neither. It
Yeah.
was lol.
That's what
Like
even
I
funny.
would say, it was lol.
Yeah, that's what made it even funnier is that you didn't know he didn't know what he was gonna do, and then they just ended up conceding a goal and he's pointing, and I'm like, dude, it was your fault. Why are you pointing? It was your
Yeah,
fault.
he was trying to point fingers at somebody else. I mean, what are you doing? What are you supposed to do?
I
It,
have no idea.
you are the captain. Be decisive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I don't think Harry Maguire. I get it that Gareth Southgate and the England players said that he should not be booed and all that. You understand? An England player who's been doing so well gets booed by the Wembley crowd because he's been doing so
only
poorly
for
for
his
his
club
club.
only for his club form because internationally he's been.
Exactly. And internationally, he deserves to keep playing. I
Yeah,
don't disagree. But when he puts on that United shirt, he is a United player, and you pick players based on their form, based on the quality you show out on the field as a United player, not on what they have done as an England player. And the fact is that Harry Maguire is just not good enough.
hmm.
It's
Not
it
just
was a
him.
rant again.
It's not just him. I will add that I find
No,
half
no,
that.
I agree. I agree. It's not just him, but I'm
Hmm.
saying you'll start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
But Harry Maguire plays day in and day out, right? Every game he plays.
without
Today,
fail.
I'm not saying that there are not others who have been doing amazingly well, and nobody deserves to be told that oh you have played great football. You are not the reason why we are losing. I believe a lot of players are at fault, but you will start somewhere, and you have to have some sort of reprimand for your captain, right? If he can't lead your side properly as well.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Harry Maguire is a scapegoat, as Sanket is thinking. He's saying Maguire has become a scapegoat for every other mistake the team does. Boss, there are mistakes that he does, and he has to be, he has to be talked on about it. I think so. The problem is, I don't know whether manager tells him who is backing him, what's the scene, but you can't afford to have somebody as a captain who's not even performing well for your club. I
absolutely.
I don't think that should be the case.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, because you can say that, and I agree that, he's not the entirety of the problem, but he's part of the problem for sure.
He's
Because
part of
these,
the problem for sure. A huge part. You're the club captain, boss. You
mm,
can't you can't hide your face anywhere. You saw players like Roy Keane. They
mm,
used to lead this side, and they would lead it like the way it needs to be led. A
true.
club where the captain showed that irrespective of anything, I want that passion, right? You saw that
Mm,
passion with players like Roy Keane. You saw that passion with players like Wayne Rooney. Harry Maguire just looks like he's sulking in his own self and complaining to the ref. Go be in your opponent's face, now dominate him, show him who's the boss.
true.
Nemanja Vidic and Rio Ferdinand, when that was a centre back pairing, Vidic would go berserk, okay? He would
Yeah,
put his life on the line to save a goal if it would come to that. Okay,
true.
for there was a reason why he was the player of the season for a couple of years. Will Harry Maguire win it with the kind of football we see from him?
No,
Do you think
not
he can ever match a level like Vidic or Ferdinand did? That boss cannot even control his legs properly on a football. He
true.
makes some random passes. Tonight also, I think so. David De Gea shouted at him once where he made that back pass to him, and there was a
Mm,
Liverpool player charging in, and De Gea somehow managed to put it to Dalo on the side. Otherwise, he was again in a spot of bother. Who was at fault? Maguire, and we have seen Maguire caught in possession so many times.
true.
Something needs to be done about it. It's a rant about Maguire, and I don't know what to say more. But if you are the club captain, you need to be more like Roy Keane than Harry Maguire ever,
Yeah,
ever, because really, Harry Maguire doesn't deserve to be the club's captain. Hasn't done
absolutely.
anything. Hasn't done anything to keep that arm man, captain's arm man. So that's
Kishan
that. Anyway,
has
let's
something.
take the final. Yeah,
Yeah,
go
that's
on,
the
go
last
on.
question we're taking. And he's asking this to you, sir, because he says, as a United fan, how much does it hurt for you, sir, to praise City and Liverpool, who are competing in every competition, best clubs in Europe currently with Liverpool, so good a record in the Champions League? Ooh,
Yeah, it breaks my heart. As you can see, like I at one point when Shane and I were supposed to talk about it, I thought maybe I shouldn't because I felt so lost. I felt like a United side that would dominate Liverpool few
yeah,
years back. Liverpool would not even come close to beating us. Now Liverpool for this season have scored 9 goals against us, and we have scored
is
zilch
it?
against them. That is how poor we have been, and it's just horrendous. But credit where credit is due. Liverpool and City are playing fantastic football. And
I know.
irrespective of whether I'm a United fan, I'm a football fan first, and you have to appreciate good football. And they are
Absolutely.
doing that. United are not.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
anyway,
Uh,
think we've gone on long enough because I was looking at the amount of time, and good God, we've gone on nearly 50 minutes on this. Not too shabby. So,
not too shabby.
not too shabby, but we will also be joining you a lot tomorrow as well. There'll be other football matches. There's, of course, going to be IPL. And God forbid there's any more breaking news. We'll be doing even more lives from home. Hopefully, not whilst waking up straight away like our dear colleague Siddharth.
I hope so. And let's see what happens. Anyway, thank you for being with
Thank you
us, guys.
guys.
Um,
Enjoyed your company whilst we ranted. Oh, well, Sid ranted. I was listening also, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think the Shane, I think like out of the 47, 48 minutes, I think Shane must have spoken for good 4 minutes at
Yeah,
max.
only eight
And
minutes. Yeah.
yeah, and I ranted for the other 40. At
Okay.
times, I was ranting so much when I was talking about the United's club structure and how their top management, the owners are responsible, that I lost chain, that my thought process only, and I don't even know what I was ranting about. That is how
Happens.
I am feeling as a United fan. It's just, it's
It
bad.
happens. It does happen. Anyway, thank you guys again so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
We enjoyed having this talk. See you. Good night. Bye bye. Till
See you.
then, take
Bye
care.
bye. Bye, Shane. Good night.
Good night, man.